Okay, awesome.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of the One Up Sales Development Podcast. So for my next guest that I have for you guys today, it's a really good dear friend of mine. He is an everyday practitioner. He's been in the sales game for a very long time, way before the sales development technology has been popping. And if you go back into 2008 and 2009, when it comes to that sales game, being a debt collector, people who are in debt, people who's in credit card debt, not paying their shit, and you have those people calling you, that is the grit job, man. He also worked his way up and then jumping from the different fields from field to field, but he always stuck with sales. He also did gym sales. He also did insurance sales, SEO sales, and in his most recent role too, he was over at the sales developer as a senior client sales development rep. Please give me a warm welcome for my man, Josh Williams.
What's up, Jackson? Thanks for having me, man.
What's up, Josh, man? Really happy to have you here, man. Thank you so much for putting your time out to share your stories, to let others, new and young SDRs, know what's out there, what's available, what to expect, and just basically share your stories, So thank you for coming on, man.
For sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yep. We can hear you.
Is it crispy?
It's crispy like the background.
Okay.
I love the background. Tupac Shakur. Ain't nothing but a gangster party.
Yeah, it's a few things. Things I like to keep in my environment. It's all around.
Yeah.
Try to stay positive and motivated.
Yeah, definitely. And Josh, I know we chatted recently, and then you told us about the pandemic and how you were at the TSD, which a lot of people know about, and the story. We'd love to hear from you too. We love to hear and dive deep into, you weren't the only one affected, right? There were so many people that got let go and shit like that. But we want to know and hear and see what was your strategy, what was your go-to market style, like how did you feel about it and stuff like that. But Josh, without further ado, man, why don't you go ahead and just introduce yourself? Let us know who you are and how did you get into sales?
Yeah, man. Thanks again for having me on the podcast. So I'm Josh Williams, and I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I grew up in a suburb north of Columbus, Worthington, Ohio. So I went there and ended up at Capital University. Went there to play football, and I quickly realized I wasn't going to go to the NFL, and I was like, why in the hell am I waking up at 5 a.m. lifting and squatting 750 pounds and doing all these runs and all this other shit?
Damn.
And I started to actually started to fall in love with school, but it was a little too late just because it got too expensive. And that's when I got an opportunity at Credit Consultants, and at the time they were paying like $11 plus commission. I was 19 years old. And I saw $11 plus commission full time, never had a full time gig. I was like, well, I need money, so I'm going to go get the money. And I've been in sales ever since. And I definitely don't regret it.
Nice. Hey, Josh, let's dive a little bit deeper in that. So when I first, graduated, when I first was exposed to sales, it's like 8 years ago, about almost close to 10. And I know one of it that was popping was, being those debt collectors calling people. And can you tell us about that experience? Like what was the environment look like? Like you came in there, it's a lot of cold calling, like just, was it Wolf of Wall Street style, so to speak?
Yeah, man, it really was. It was like boiler room. I kid you not. So, think about where we are today. Back then, it was nothing like it is today. And I remember on Mondays, we would go in at 10 a.m. and we'd be there until like 11 o'clock at night. And I don't even now that I'm older, I don't even think that was legal back then. So it was a huge sales floor, man. It was actually what it was. I wasn't actually collecting on the debt. I was actually enrolling customers who responded to a commercial into a debt program to clear their debts. So we got everything from their bank account, their social security numbers, and the whole 9 yards. But back then, man, know. I didn't know what was going on. I was just doing it, and I was there for the experience. I actually met one of my best friends there, which is super interesting. We still talk to this day, which is like really rare. You know, you don't really
Yeah.
meet people in the corporate workplace that you end up having a relationship for an extended period of time. But yeah, man, it was a cool experience. And at the time, I thought I was making a lot of money for my age.
Okay.
Pretty
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Hey, just out of curiosity. So I had a few friends that did it too during those times. This is when I was in retail wireless, right?
Oh,
T-Mobile,
okay.
Sprint, and shit like that. And
Yeah.
my friends, I had a few friends that was in the gig, and they were like, "Hey, man, you know, you really want to make money in sales, you gotta do this debt collector thing." But it's like really aggressive. And one of my other friend was like, "Yeah, I couldn't do it because I had to sit in there, I had to like bitch and yell at them, like, 'Hey, mother effer, you better pay up or not.'" Da, da, da. Was it anything like that too as well, or is that a little bit different than what we're talking about here?
No, it wasn't like that. We were actually people would fill out a lead form, and
Yeah,
we would follow on the lead, and we would enroll them into a debt elimination
yeah,
program. So it
yeah,
was to eliminate. They wanted to get out of debt, so they would stop paying all their credit cards, give the credit consultants the money, and
yeah.
then we would use that to work out settlements with their creditors. It sound looking back on it, man, it ended up being a big sham. So
Yeah. You know, it's all good. It happens, right? You never really know what you're getting yourself into until you actually go on it hands on. And
yeah,
for the most part, a lot of people had that experience too, because back in the days, it was rarely regulated and soon even be touched. So, you know, you're not the only one for sure. Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, insane, bro.
yeah. Hey, Josh. So, just out of curiosity, man. So, talk to us about Lifetime. Like, what is Lifetime? What are you guys doing over there? And you know, I know you spent yourself like 6 years over there, but looks like you were crushing sales, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. I I had a collection of trophies that were collecting dust.
Yeah.
But Lifetime is the fitness club, the health club, the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, the world renowned gym.
Yeah.
Do you have one in your area?
What's that?
Do you have a Lifetime Fitness in your area?
We do not. So, in Southern California, we have more like 24-hour fitness or this other gym called Choose Fitness or
Yeah,
Planet something with some purple shit.
Planet Fitness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Planet
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fitness.
Hey, hey, man. So I really want to talk about that. So I thought about that before too. People approach me to like try gym membership sales, right? Like, what's it like over there? You walk around, you gotta look buff, right? And people come in, you're like, "Hey, man, welcome to Lifetime. How are you currently taking care of your health? And what's the sales like over there over at Lifetime?"
Well, Lifetime, they definitely are ran a well a ran. They're definitely a well-oiled ran machine and conglomerate, to say the least. Definitely the best health club brand and one of the best organizations in the world. I
Yeah,
actually was a member of Lifetime before I got into the health and fitness industry. So to back up a little bit, I actually was working from my friend that I met at Credit Consultants. Um, he ended up starting at Lifestyle Family Fitness, which was a small chain here in Columbus,
yeah.
Ohio. And he's like, man, you got to come over here. The money's great. I'm killing it. You got to come be a part of it. It's so much fun. And I did that. I followed him, and I was in that industry for a total of 8 years. But
Yeah.
Lifetime, they do a great job with training, and they have a system and a sales process. Um, so when you first get hired on at Lifetime, they actually fly you out to Minnesota for a
Oh,
week of training. It's a sales certification. So there's practical tests and actually live role play tests. So there's different points when someone comes into their health club. Um, Different league types, so you're tested out on those. And if you score a certain, if you score a certain, you have to score a certain score. before you can be certified to go back into one of their clubs to sell memberships. So they definitely do things a lot different than a lot of other health clubs. But man, I tell you, it took me a while to get, to get really, really good. But it's one of those, it's one of those positions that it's really unconventional. And you really have to have a lot of patience and perseverance and persistence as well to do really well in that health and fitness industry. I've always, I've always, I've always said it's pretty much 100% commission. There's a little bit to fall back on, but you really got to be good at what you do and pumping out volume. And it's one of those, it's one of those situations where you get in what you put out of it. But I think that's ultimately with anything. But I had a great experience there, man. I learned a lot. I think what I learned the most was that client facing sales and learning how to read people from all different ethnicities, backgrounds, and different ages, building those relationships, man. It was a really, really good experience outside of as my daughter got older, some other things kind of got more important, just as far as the schedule and things of that nature. But man, I love Lifetime. I can't wait until they open back up, man. It's killing me that they're closed.
Oh, shit. Nice. Okay. Hey, so Lifetime, is that a full-on gym where you guys have like everything from the bank to even, the pool area and saunas and stuff like that too? Okay.
And
Hey,
they're even building like their the owner, the creator of Lifetime's incredible, man. They're now building like co-working spaces that has the fitness on site. They have some places that have like apartments on site. So they're literally now, it's kind of phasing, like what we have in Columbus is almost like a penny compared to the locations and the
yeah.
structures, and they're really building communities now and really getting into that living space and
Yeah.
getting into that thing. It's pretty incredible what they're doing. But yeah, absolutely, man. They got the steam room and basketball courts, rock walls,
Oh, damn.
and some of the big clubs they got like MMA rooms, tennis courts.
Oh, really?
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, man, all that
Full
stuff,
service.
all that
Okay.
crazy shit.
Nice. Okay, so it's pretty much a full-on gym, full service, right? All the bells and whistles. So what I really want to like to dive deep in there, Josh, is you mentioned your experience in there, right? You went in there, you've been in there for about 6-7 years, 8 years in the industry, and you mentioned that it wasn't fly off the bat. It took some time to fully craft it on, and you mentioned it's pretty much like commission only. But I'm imagining it's probably like like a low base, but the reward's really high. Is that what it was over there?
Yeah, it was more like a draw. So
Okay.
I think
Okay.
it was like I think when I started it was like $11.50 an hour, $12 an hour. If you
Yeah.
didn't make, I think you'd work full time. You get full time hours. So I came up
Yeah.
to what, under $1,000.
Yeah.
So if you didn't make over $1,000 in commission, and you'd pay it back in draw. Or you would get you would never get below your hourly rate. But I mean,
Yeah. No, that's very typical from especially
definitely
back
wasn't
in the
there
days too.
I definitely wasn't there to make that though. But when I first started, I was in a club that was struggling. It was slow.
Yeah.
To have success in that business, you definitely got to have a sheer bit of luck for sure, with
Yeah.
people walking through your door. And sometimes, if you don't have people walking through the door, it's really, really tough. Really,
Yeah.
really.
I just want to dig back into this. This reminds me of T-Mobile, like the retail days, right? They call
Yeah.
it a destination store. When someone
Yep.
walks through that door, they didn't come there just to check it out. They walked through there for a specific reason. And I'm imagining, sometimes like you would get those lucky customers who, hey, I'm here to sign up. Shit, let's go. Boom. But more
Yep.
importantly, for you, like you mentioned, and I imagine this is through, continuous learning, training, and grit to the point where it wasn't all good in the beginning. You weren't as good like how you were today until you actually got out of sales experience and you were training for it. And after that, you actually got to this mental switch where it actually cracked you and you snapped and you go, okay, is sales for me or not? And then after that, you just started taking flight, and then you're able to go ahead and prospect and, that face-to-face engagement, right? Hey,
Yeah.
Josh, welcome to Lifetime. What brings you here today? Great. I'm here to help you out. So talk to me about your experiences. How often do you work out? What are your fitness goals? How are you looking to achieve that? I really want to walk you through here. Oh, here's the gym room. Oh, here's the weights. You mentioned you like to do a lot of curls. This will be helpful for the curls. You mentioned you like to swim. Here's the pool area over here. And we get you signed up today. How does that sound? And they're like, oh, sure, great. Let me get the paper out. Boom, boom, boom. Is that what it is too, pretty much around there?
Yeah, pretty much, man. I think you got, with you working at T-Mobile, so you definitely understand the specialized retail sales. I think
Yeah.
what changed for me was really figuring out the key questions that was going to get the prospective prospect that walked into the door to think a little bit differently, and then tie it back to their goal. So Lifetime, um, they had a lot of programs where you could test like your blood and your metabolics, and
Oh,
the
damn.
trainers are really top, top class uh, as far as educating the prospect on what's going to be best for them. So I think you're always going to get those. You would definitely get those people just come and sign up. But I think where you get really good at, man, is when you get that middle-aged couple that maybe they've never worked out before, and they've been talking about it for a long, long, long time,
Yeah.
and it was super hard for them to even walk through the gym door. So let's imagine you've never worked out, you're 40 years old, and
Oh,
maybe you're on
fuck.
a few medications and you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Um, you don't know what to do, and you're going in here. You're talking to this young guy who's in shape. He's in a suit, and then all these other people are around you. And you're walking through you're taking a tour of the gym. All these people in workout clothes. It can be very, very intimidating. So you really had to get good at asking discovery questions, and that's really where I definitely learned that at Lifetime, just because their process was so different. And also, man, you had to build more value because you had like Planet Fitness down the street at $10 a month. You had to know your competition and all of those
Yeah.
things. So I think a lot of that, a lot of that transferred over to 18 months ago when I found sales development and became an SDR. However,
Yeah.
it all didn't translate. So I was back in the point. I think everyone goes through this where you have to figure out, the first 3 to 6 months, if the 3 to 6 months, what's going to work best for you. So really, the first 60 to 90 days as an SDR, man, it was challenging. Not to be honest, I was booking appointments, but a lot of them weren't as qualified as I thought they were, and also I wasn't able to break into some of the difficult channels at that time. So I really had to lean on my principles, which is personal development, just always keep learning, seeking to get better on my own, man. I remember watching a webinar one weekend, and then after that, everything just kind of started to light up and fall into place, man. And it was a really unique experience because I'm coming in, I'm on top of the world. I have a ton of sales experience. I'm getting back on the phones. I'm like, this is gonna be a piece of cake, and that wasn't the case, man. So anytime I talk to anyone, I just always go back to always keep learning, always stay positive, and anybody can figure it out. But I just think you have to keep putting yourself in positions to win, whether that be someone giving you a referral during COVID-19 when you just got laid off, or putting yourself in a position to have a podcast, interview guests. Really put yourself in those positions, man, because you just really never know when it's going to pay off, bro. And it always seems like it pays off. It always seems like it pays off unexpectedly. Then you look back and you're like, oh man, that was a pretty cool experience that I was able to do that. And, you know, it kind of feels good when you have those moments.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I know exactly what you mean, man. And I love that, Josh. You know, you always got to keep learning. Like when I made the jump over from T-Mobile to retail sales, I thought I knew it all until I went over to ADP. I was like, oh, fuck, this is totally different. And I'm glad you did that too in terms of continuous learning, right? Because you mentioned you and every true and real SDR and BDR know for the fact that, you know, there's been time where you book demos where that person wasn't the right person or they're not
Yeah.
really well qualified. You know, you push so hard for the meeting that they accepted it and you got excited, but you failed to verify it, right? Like, hey, I'm like, are you even the right person to do this? Or as a matter of fact, is there anyone else that should be involved? Or are you the one who's responsible for making this decision and pushing forward with the process? But more important, like, man, I had this the other day, right? I'm not gonna nail over. So Zoom info, we love Zoom info, right? Love Zoom info, bought over by Discover Org. And literally in the beginning of the year when I was helping out over at 10Bound with David now, I was like, man, need some fucking lead verification, you know? So you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to submit my info. I'm going to submit my info just to try the free trial because it says they give you a free trial on there. And and they reached out. They reached out like not too long ago, right? But this is like 3 months ago. I don't know why it took so long to reach out. Oh wait, because in the beginning I asked I told them straight up. And the SDR reached out to me. I was like, hey man, my name is Jackson. I wonder if you can help. I'm gonna be upfront with you. I'm not in the buying process. I just need a little help with this. However, I'm just looking for a free week trial just to get some verification, man. That's it. And they reached out to me about a month ago, right? And spoke to this SDR. Told him straight up, man, this is probably not, I'll be honest with you, man. Like, thanks for reaching back out. I only submitted it just to try the free trial, So I'm not qualified, right? I'm telling that up front. And he was telling me anyways, hey, man, you should try and take it anyways, just so that you learn something new. I was like, shit, man, are you sure though? Because it's not going to go anywhere. And so we set it up, right? And I met his AE, very cool guy. He ended up giving me the free trial anyways, but I told him up front and he was like, what the fuck? I was like, hey, man, I talked to your SDR. I told him, and this is what happened. This is the conversation. Because I knew that was going to happen because I'm an AE to myself, right? And but everything else turned out all good, though. We're just using each other as a resource. He hooked up with a free 2 days trial anyways. It wasn't even a week.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man, so everyone had been through that, and, you got to eat shit to learn. There's no success without failure. But
yeah, man, that's one of my favorite quotes.
Yeah, Josh. Hey, man.
Let's just the same person.
Yeah, right. That's how you do it. Hey, man. So talk to us when you make the switch. Like you were doing, working at a gym, right? You're like, all right, man. So gym membership here, gym membership there. You get the premium. You don't get the premium. And then how did you hear about sales development and how did you make the jump, man?
Man, it was funny. It was from there's a marketing company in Columbus called the Shipyard, and I got this really funky email. Right, I thought it was spam, and it didn't end up being spam. And they had their company that was housed under them was Smart Harbor, and they called me and invited me in to speak with their managing director of the Shipyard at the time, which was like the co-founder of Smart Harbor. And man, it was just, I walked into, there's a venue downtown here, big glass building, man, beautiful venue. And I'm like, holy shit, this is where people work now?
Yeah.
Because, I've been in the gym for so long, I didn't know anything about sales development or startups. And he was like, so we bring you on board, what's your salary requirements? And I told them I really wasn't expecting them to give it to me. They gave it to me, and hey, man, the rest has been history.
Oh, damn, nice. Okay, so just to partly on that, right?
It was really random. It was really random how I got involved into sales development, but it's definitely been a blessing to my life and to my career.
Yeah. No, I like that, man. You know, that's what I would like to hear too, because a lot of people have different stories when they're jumping, when they're making a horizontal jump in sales, right? Whether you're coming from retail, or fresh out of college, what the fuck ever,
Yeah.
you know, everyone's experience is different, and a lot of people typically wants like a cookie cutter resume. Were you guys more heavy on like just phone banging over at Smart Harbor, 100% just straight dials?
Yep, pretty much, man.
Okay.
Out of SalesLoft, I'd never seen SalesLoft before. I
Yeah.
worked with Salesforce and Microsoft and Dynamics and some like generic dollars, but yeah, man, using SalesLoft and I started learning about email. Me personally, I know I've shared this with you. Um, email's not my strength, and I'm okay with email, but I don't like sitting there writing all that out. I'll be honest, and I know you've helped me with some sequences here recently. I'm
Oh
not saying
yeah. Sorry.
there's definitely value in email because at the end of the day, when they see the email or they see us calling or if we talk to their gatekeeper, that's a marketing.
Yeah.
So every touch is marketing that the company is paying us that the company doesn't have to pay additional for that we're doing. So
Yeah.
um, but yeah, man, I started to learn about all that stuff really there. But yeah, it's just straight phone calls. Really, I think for me, it's just about catching people at the right time, just
Yeah.
being relentless.
Here's the thing, man. You know, I'm glad you found what your strengths are, and you should stick to it. There's a lot of people out there, you know, who come as SDR. They think they're good at one thing, but then they tend to gear towards the other thing. Like, for instance, in this situation, like let's say you join a new company and like, hey, man, we're gonna want you to pound more emails and calls, and if that's not your strength, then you gotta talk to them about that, you know. And being a sales development rep, we're using multi-channel, of course, but if there's something that you would prefer, then that's exactly what you want to utilize 100%, or else you're just stabbing yourself in the back there, so to speak.
Definitely,
And
bro.
this brings me to the next question, Josh. So you were, you know, a senior SDR over at the sales developers. Big fan of the TSDs. You know, that's where I met Ryan when James Baldwin jumped over. I even took the certification program and got that too. Really happy about that. Can you tell us
Yeah.
about your experience over there when you're just over at TSD? Were you just straight phone banging all day, every day, just conversations straight up?
Well, tons of conversations because the sales developers they invested into Connect and Sell. Again, a tool I
Oh,
never used or a tool I never learned about. The sales developers, it was interesting because when I went there, I was definitely nervous to accept, especially coming from a smaller company, going to an even smaller company because the previous company I was with, they had sold off and I got laid off
oh,
from there. The new guys in town, and so I was just really nervous. I think I'm gonna go back to a bigger company. I love being an SDR. I'm
yeah,
doing really well, but I decided the reason I went to the sales developers was to get the remote experience, one, and then two, um, to learn basically to learn more about the client SDR position where you're running multiple campaigns and and you're representing multiple clients in that outsource model. So
yeah,
I had a really great learning experience. Um, are you there, Jackson?
yeah. Still here.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got an alert, but
No
I
worries.
had a really great I had a really great learning experience, man. That really proven to be invaluable. So just really learning the ins and outs of the startup, where it started from, how it's ran, the challenges, the changes, the wins, the losses. Well, no losses, you always learn, right? And most
Yeah,
importantly, I furthered my network and met a ton of great people because I worked at the sales developer. So
yeah.
uh, it was a really great learning experience. The 6 months I was there.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, man. Hey, so love the TSD. How's so you transition from in office to remote. Like, can you share your experience and story of what you like about working remote? Are you still plan to stay remote? And what's your process there?
Excuse me, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. We're all remote right now, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So I definitely plan to stay remote and independent. I definitely don't plan on going back to the office or taking an office role right now.
Yeah.
Um, but I think for me, the big thing with working remote is having the flexibility in your schedule.
Yeah.
And then two, I was able to pick up my daughter from school. I always take my daughter to school every morning,
Oh,
but
for
working
sure.
remote allowed me to pick her up from school in the afternoon. So that
Yeah.
was super important to me. But man, if you have responsibilities to take care of, and I'm definitely not opposed to go to the office, but that's not where I'm at right now. Definitely looking to stay independent, man. And then the transition, your stress levels are down because you're not in rush hour.
Yeah.
However, I'm a super jovial guy. I like to have fun, so I definitely miss the office shenanigans and making people laugh and talking a little bit of smack. Uh,
Right. Come on. Hey,
uh,
what's up, Jay William? What's cracking, baby?
yeah, man. So you know how it is. Uh, and then on top of that, bro, I think when you work remote, because your stress levels are down, there's no rush hour. You can take more time to yourself. You
Yeah.
don't feel rushed. I think oftentimes as we're working, it doesn't necessarily feel like work because we're at home and the time goes by super fast. So you really got to be a self-starter. You really got to have your time management down to be successful in the remote positions. But I've been loving it, man. Just overall having more control over my day and my schedule. I think as we move forward, and then also the trade-offs with working for like startups and smaller companies that give you autonomy, you realize that do we really need 8 hours? Well, the good thing is you can get your calls done, and then those additional hours that you would use in the office to walk around, things like that, you can actually focus on putting in more work, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No doubt, man. I know
I
exactly what you're
feel
talking
like
about.
it's weird. I feel like I've been more productive.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean. There's a lot more time to execute accordingly. And, just having that ability to just, hey, I'm just going to pick up my daughter real quick at school and, taking her to school. That's like being a father, like just doing your role as a dad, and to be able to provide that flexibility means a lot to a lot of people. For some other people, they prefer other stuff because, well, we're all social animals, right? We got to be in touch. Like, got to walk down the office, see my man Josh Williams. No, hey, what's up, baby? How was your weekend, baby? Hey, what's cracking, man? Hey, man, just booked devil, man. It's that corporate love.
Man, when I started at Smart Harbor, that was the weirdest transition because in the gym it's hey, what's going on? What's up, man? How are you
Yeah.
doing? It's like super social, and then I go in there and like only one person is ever talking, and I'm
Oh,
like, I don't know if these guys they don't like me or they're weird or I don't know what the hell's going on. It's quiet, so quiet in here.
like, hey, man, leave
What
me.
the hell is wrong with everybody?
So, hey, man, I'm in my shell, man. Leave me alone. Hey, Josh. Hey, man. Just so as we're running up the time, I just want to ask you a few more questions, man. So, like, you've been heavily involved in, you're heavily involved in through the phone. That's your thing, cold call. Hey, man, did I catch you at a good time? Hey, was it all right if I explained the reason for my call? You started out over as a debt collector. So, in your eyes, views, and belief and experience, right? And these are for the new young SDRs who's fucking scared of the phone, being a little bitch about it, hiding behind emails and shit. Like, what are your tips to break out of that shell and really become a go-getter, become the coldest cold caller in the game and just shit like that? Like,
Yeah, man, just be money motivated, one,
yeah,
and two, be super positive, and three, the more you listen to your calls, call replay is something that's really, really huge. And man, you just have to really just continue to seek out information. It's everywhere. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. I know for me, it was Mike Brooks, Mr. Inside Sales. He has the Power Scripts phone book. That's my go-to.
nice.
But if you don't want to make money, then there's nothing that's gonna motivate you to stay on the phone all day. You're just not
Yeah.
gonna do it. And if you don't have a positive attitude, you're going to get negative, you're going to get bored, you're going to quit. And then 3, if you don't listen to your calls or want to get better, then you just simply won't. You're going to get fired anyway. If the company doesn't shut down and run out of money or sell.
Yeah. That's right, man. You know, I love that, man. You know, till this day, when I first started as SDR at Berk Street Systems, I bought a mini recorder for like $30, right? And I get on like corporate calls and shit like that.
Right.
Whether it's like with demo with the AEs or my recorded call, I would loop it on and I still listen to it till this day. And man, you can imagine when you tap back to that, it's like there's so much different changes. There's thing now. I know what to say and what to look for than how I wasn't before back then. Like I'll give a good example, right? For back in the days. So you got to have the pitch ready, right? You know, the true art form is you got to ask for permission now and then go for your pitch, right?
Yep.
So what happens is when you call them, sometimes they can throw objections to you. And instead of staying paused, you're supposed to go straight to the pitch. And for instance, it'd be like, hey, this is Josh at the sales developer. Is there if I explain the reason for my call? And then they'll be like, Josh, who? And you're like, Josh at the sales developers. And you just pause. And then you're right there, you're giving them full control. But really, you got to go straight to the pitch after that. Josh, who? Josh with the sales developer. Oh, and by the reason for my call is boom, straight to the pitch, you know? And that's where a lot of SDR and BDR have trouble nowadays. They get curled up in their little shell, or introvert, you know, get sad and shit. Hey, man, we're going through a pandemic. Hey, man, people's dying. Hey, man, I just got laid off. Why are you calling me? Oh, shit. I'm sorry. You know, it's not like, nah, man, you got to go straight to the pitch. Go straight to the pitch out there. Don't just sit there and just fucking wait. You're giving them full control now. Straight to the pitch. Hey, you know what? Yeah. I completely understand where you're coming from. It's a pandemic. Don't really mean to call you this way, but I did anyways. Oh, by the way, the reason for our call is boom.
Yep. Yeah. Hey, man, I'm glad you brought that up as we end. The permission is key, but one thing that's worked really well for me is, and I stole this from Mike Brooks.
Yeah.
It's, so we can role play. Hey, Jackson.
Oh man, you know what? Yes, let's. It's you know that's funny. I was actually gonna ask you for this too, but let's do it for the SDR beaters listening. All right, go for that ring.
Hey, Jackson.
Hi.
Hey, it's Josh with Williams Protection Group. How's your Thursday going?
It's going all right. Who's this?
It's Josh with Williams Protection Group.
Josh, how can I help you?
Yeah, man. It's pre-Friday's Eve. Aren't you excited about that?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, what is it like? Friday, Pizza Fridays, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, with extra cheese, right?
You got it.
Yeah. So pause right there, man. So when you Mike says when you call, it's like it's easy to get that question will it's worked for me hundreds of times. That question will allow you where that question will tell you where to go next, and it'll tell you the mood that your prospect is in. So like you said, hey, it's going all right. Who's this? Versus saying it's going all right, or it's like any other day. You know how that goes. So if they respond like something like that, something jovial, something jubilant, then you can throw in an icebreaker like, hey, it's Friday Eve. You got to be excited for the weekend, right? Then typically they'll be like, ha ha, ha ha, and then you can get your pitch in. But it was a good example because that's where it goes the other way. And like you said, you just got to go straight into your pitch. But I wanted to play that through, so that actually worked out perfectly. Hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully that helps. But asking the day of the week definitely goes a long way.
Okay. So pretty much it's just to read them and see where they're at, right? Like if they respond a specific way, I'm gonna take route A. If not, I'm gonna take route B.
Yeah, because psychologically, they're gonna be thrown off. They're used to how are you? Do you have a moment?
Yeah.
I'm calling out the blue. I know I'm calling out the blue. Do you have a few seconds?
Yeah. Nice.
So it's a quick way to build rapport and a quick way to figure out how much time you got to spend on that call.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Like Mondays is the best. How's your Monday going? Oh, it's Monday. Oh, it's all downhill from here, right? That's cool. Hey,
Yeah.
Jax, the reason for my call, and then boom, boom, and just kind of go from there.
Got it. Okay.
We're gonna have fun with it, right?
Yeah. Okay. So it's pretty much a disarming thing, right? If they play along, then if they play along, then you're gonna play along still. And if not, then you're like, all right, fuck this, straight to the gut. Hey, reason for my
Yep.
call, X, Y, Z, Z. Nice. I love that.
Yep.
I love that.
Yep. Or it's like, or then ask for permission. Did I call it a good time?
Yeah.
Typically they'll disarm there. No, not really. Can you call me back? But
Yeah.
it's just picking up the phone and failing forward, man. I think that's the common theme from anyone that's had any type of success in any industry. I'm just glad that really fortunate people like you and other people in my network have reached out to me just based off of I still consider myself a little bit new. And yeah, man, this
No.
industry's been a blessing. I definitely enjoy it. And I
Yeah.
think it would be a great pathway for anyone that wants to get in and use it to propel them to something else.
Yeah, Josh, and this is why I wanted to bring you on the show, man. You have a lot of value to share in terms of your story. Everyone has a story, and everyone's story is different, right? But just to share, let others know out there that you're not alone. Like, you came from the background of doing debt collectings and then selling gym memberships, and you're just working your way up throughout the ranks. And that sounds you're doing anything you can possible in terms of personal development, learning, coaching, asking for feedback, then you're all good, man. And so, Josh, I just want to ask you, man, like, as we wrap this up real quick. So, you're an SDR, TSD, the unfortunate thing happens. Like, what's next for you?
So, man, I've actually, like I said, the past 30 days, it felt like it's been a lot longer. I've been fortunate to get to have referrals, so still able to do some outsource SDRing. I've been thinking about starting my own outsource company, and no one knew COVID was going to happen, but actually got my life insurance license back in 2017 to help a family member. I never did anything with it. I definitely was in the field a little bit, maybe
Yeah.
for about 30 days. Then after that, I pretty much gave it up, but I maintained my license. So definitely have decided to get back into the life insurance sales and
Yeah.
get into building a telesales agency. So really excited to see where that goes. I'm working on that right now, man. And also my big passion is music. So I definitely have a few music initiatives I'm working on in my quote unquote spare time.
Yeah.
And is my passion project. And definitely still trying to figure out how I continue to add value to this SDR space. And again, man, I'm thinking about opening up and just being, having the courage to be more vulnerable and just put some of my ideas out there, kind of reserved.
Yeah.
And to see from our conversations, I'm super outgoing, but still super reserved on some of the things I'm doing internally
Nice.
versus putting it out there. But based off the feedback, man, and based off of where I'm at and just what I've experienced at my past two companies, I think we need some new blood and leadership. And I'm excited to see how I can forge different paths and use sales development and introduce it into other industries that I feel like it would offer more opportunities for SDRs like you, like me, that are thought leaders and you want to do right by the people who ultimately don't get the most respect in these startups and in these smaller companies.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm really forging. So I would hate to see the SDR community continue to get underpaid and undervalued, because that's
Yeah.
exactly what's going on right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Anything I can do to change that stigma and put the SDRs that are willing to pick up this phone. And because at the end of the day, SDR is a fancy word for telemarketer, a cold caller. It's been around for years. We have more technology, so people like Jackson, who are the bomb at creating emails, we can put all these things together, man, and be courageous and go out and help companies and live the American dream.
Yeah. Yeah, man, you hit
So
it on.
I'm fired up, man. I'm glad I got laid off 2 times in a row. Past 18 months, it's probably the best things that could have happened to me. I'm glad I went to TSD to learn about the startup culture. I'm happy I have a lot of great people in my network, and I'm always open to chat and collaborate and see what we can come up with, man.
Yeah. You know,
I'm excited.
I love that, man. And you're not alone, man. You know, I got let go from, you know, my internship at ADP and shit like that. They didn't offer me
Who was that, by
that.
the way? ADP, man. I saw that. It looked like you can make a lot of money. That shit looked hard.
Yeah. No, it's the Long Beach region. It's just their thing. The internship. I'm not even going to talk about it because, you know, no one gives a shit. So, but, you know, I'm glad it didn't work out because it got me to where I'm at today. But I do tell you, man, I left T-Mobile doing very well, right? Had well known over there, everything. I left ADP to eat shit, make fraction of the money with no benefits, work my ass off, outworked everyone else, and still didn't get an offer because there wasn't any offer available. But other than that, Hey, Josh, so hey, man, if there's anyone out there who wants to reach out to you, say thank you, you know, for this episode, wishing you the best of luck and shit like that, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Just hit me up on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I respond to all my messages. And as long as you have a picture,
yeah,
get accepted.
All right, for sure. There we got it, guys. And other than that, that wraps up for the One Up Sales Development Podcast. Josh Williams, thanks again for jumping on, and see you next time.